Hey everybody, this is Joe and I'm coming to you from my Houston, Texas garden, and I'm in zone 9A, and I wanted to give you a look at the garden but also to talk about replacing non-native species with native plants. So right here is a Japanese yew. It can be kept in the shape of a hedge or a shrub, which is very useful. It gets used a lot in Texas landscapes, in Houston landscapes. It's evergreen, and it's nice ornamentally. I think it's pretty, but it is non-native. It does have berries, but I have found out that the berries are toxic, and so this has no real value to wildlife in my garden. And so as much as I hate cutting down a tree, oh, hello, Mrs. As much as I hate cutting down a tree, you can see how big the trunk is here. I think it's about 15 years old. I will replace this with other trees. So I'll give you a little look before I walk away and talk more about what I'm going to replace it with. This is a magnolia, saucer magnolia, or a tulip magnolia. This was supposed to be the variety Jane, and it was mislabeled, and so I don't actually know the name of this one. This is darker, a deeper pink than Jane, and I think they actually get even darker when they age. This is a bud. It starts out really dark. I think it kind of gets lighter and then it'll actually get darker again. This is a Jane here. It is just, you can see a tiny little bud up there opening. Let me crawl back through here and give you a better view. Here's my other little Jane magnolia that is not nearly as old. That's pretty new. So I will replace this huge Japanese yew with a native species called a Possuma holly that should get about 15 or 20 feet high and about 10 feet wide. I probably will put two here. And it is deciduous. I wish it was evergreen, but in the winter, it will drop its leaves and be covered with red berries that birds in Texas will eat. And so it will look very bare here in the winters. But I will be really happy. You know, these Jane magnolias are non-native, and I've planted them. They're so beautiful, but I'm definitely willing to give up this big yew to add some habitat for birds and add some food for birds that isn't a bird feeder. We had a freeze before Christmas, probably like everybody else did in America, and so everything looks terrible. I don't dare trim it back yet because we might have another freeze. I don't want to stimulate growth, but you can see I've already got new growth on these roses. I think some of my roses really took a hit. This rose looks really much worse than roses in past years. You can see how much brown there is. I'm sorry, I'm videoing in bright sun. There's not a cloud in the sky, but I wanted to get it done today. I can see some of my little things are coming back from the freeze. I just covered things with leaves out here, and I've got some life showing. This is a native Barbados cherry, and let's see if we can get it to focus there. And it's got a little bit of life coming. This is, I can see a little life too. This is a native porterweed, and I can see a little life on that one. I couldn't find any life on these other two. And then sort of the star of the winter was this Walter's viburnum, which is native and never stopped blooming. 16 degrees outside and it still had flowers on it. I didn't cover it or do anything. And again, my roses are leafing out, but maybe they shouldn't be. All right, let me take you around to the backyard because I want to show you the other thing I'm going to replace. It's the same plant I'm replacing. Oh, there went a Gulf fritillary butterfly. So you can see everything still looks pretty bad. Oh, there's our new friend. His name is Snowball. At least that's what we call him. He's all white. He has an ouchie. I've been sneaking him. He's a feral kitty. Where'd he go? There he is. I've been sneaking him antibiotics for 3 days now. I'll give you a quick peek at my little seedlings coming up nicely. I planted tons of pansies to get to give the birds and the bees something. Goodness, this is what is that? That's Picasso's purple pansy. That's not a pansy. Petunia, and oh my goodness, it's just as beautiful. It just has stayed wonderful. A lot of things are popping up, even though they could get knocked back down in a freeze. But you can see there's some green, and then a lot of things. I put a ton of stuff in the pots back in the back. But what I wanted to show you is over here, back here. Now we've got another Japanese yew that was here when we moved, and it got cut back so we could do some work here, and it's never really recovered. But the ground, you can see it's got junk on it too, but there are too many services in here. We really can't dig this out, so it just lives here. But I put, before I knew better, and before I was really thinking about feeding the birds, I put in this Japanese yew and this one and this little one that's not particularly happy. So now we're on the back side. They're the big ones I showed you a minute ago in the front yard. So I'm going to take these out. I do like them. Obviously, I've planted, more in the last couple of years, and they kind of look nice. But I'm going to take these out. The possum holly that I will put in the front, the female trees will have berries, but you really need a male tree to make sure that it's pollinated. There probably are male trees around here close enough that will pollinate the possum holly so that I can have berries, but I want to guarantee it. So even though it's a little shady, it won't be. When I cut this down, it won't be. I'll see if I can find a male possum holly to put there. I'll take these out, and what I'm replacing these with, this one's got a tag over here. This is a native viburnum. It's called an arrowwood viburnum. Let's see if I can get that in focus. An arrowwood viburnum. And it will get, again, about 10 or 15 feet high. It can be trimmed into a hedge, and it will only get 4 to 6 feet wide. So I can keep it, this is about 3 feet wide, and I'll keep it trimmed pretty hard. But it has blueberries. That it is a native plant that birds in Texas love and will use. And so I'm not sure whether it's, I can't remember whether it's evergreen or deciduous. I think it's deciduous, but this is green because it came from a greenhouse somewhere. So I will put the native viburnum here and have purple berries, a male plant that will have no berries, and then 2 big possum. And I'm going to buy the biggest ones I can. I'm going to have professional people come. They're coming tomorrow. We're going to cut these down, grind the stumps, and I'll have professional people come and put the biggest ones I can find for instant gratification reasons. Now these viburnums won't have really, showy flowers, but again, it's just the air conditioning, and then this is a room we don't use that much, or we really kind of keep the windows closed or the shutters closed. And I suppose I'll give you, before I say goodbye, a little peek. Oh, there's a Gulf fritillary butterfly right there on the scabiosa. Oh, he's gone. Oh, there he is. Well, if the second I move the camera, he'll fly off. Anyway, I put lots of pretty flowers in. Oh, come on now. There he is. Did I get him? Look at you for the camera. This is one of the reasons that I don't pull up. This is oxalis, it's just a weed, but I don't pull it up because the bees and the butterflies like it. It's the first thing to come up. And you can see there's more oxalis here, but also look how beautiful. This is native Texas Gulf Coast penstemon. If I can get it in focus here. Well, it doesn't want to cooperate, does it? There it is. And it just looks so pretty, and it blooms really nicely, you know, in the winter. Well, I'll give you guys just a quick tour today. Thank you so much for looking. Wish me luck on my native tree replacements. I'm excited to get something going for the birds. Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.